Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Grand Cruise Astrology. My name is Clayton. A lot happening in the world right now, and there's a lot happening in the sky, so let's get to it. First, I'll start with the more minor aspect that's happening right now. We have the planet of Venus ingressing into Gemini. So, by itself, in the world we used to live in, uh, that would represent a more social time. People getting together on a very superficial level, people partying, shaking hands, hanging out, just really, having a good time with one another on a not on a deep spiritual soul level, but more on a fun kind of superficial, you know, uh, hanging out, having a drink, dancing kind of thing. It's a fun energy. So how things are now with what we're dealing with as a collective, this energy is probably going to manifest itself a little differently. Um, so it could be more ease and balance communicating over over the wires, over the internet, over the phone. For those of us that are in contact with other people, there could be a little bit more grace and kindness and ease and balance in that process. Um, but it may not be quite as clear and defined. There may be some confusion to go along with that, and I'm going to get into why. Because we have Mercury that has been in Pisces and will now conjunct Neptune. So we have Venus in Gemini, which is bringing some ease to uh, social interactions in a general way. Now Venus is going to be in Gemini for quite a while because it's ingress in Gemini and it will eventually go retrograde. So it's going to be around for a while. This energy is in place. But Mercury, where it is in Pisces right now and hitting Neptune for the short term, for the immediate future, this energy is present and it can cause some confusion. So Mercury is the planet of communication. It's a planet of perceptions. It rules thought processes. It rules, us. It rules dexterity and it rules the hands. So it has a lot to do with how we connect with one another, how do we communicate. It's the messenger planet. It's very logical. It likes to reason. It's very left brain. So this is the energy it brings into Pisces. Mercury likes to connect dots. It likes to connect dissimilar energies and find connecting points and rearrange them in its own designs. It's very creative in that sense. And it likes to express this energy through skill. That's a buzzword for Mercury. It's driven by and its passion is expressing this energy through its skills, usually with the hands. The hands are a big part of Mercury's uh, skill set, right? So, um, in the sign of Pisces, however, uh, Pisces is not left-brained at all. Pisces is about release. Pisces is about emotion. Pisces doesn't connect dots because there are no dots. Pisces sees all. It sees oneness. Um, and so when I talk about Pisces, in a lot of ways, I'm talking about Neptune, the planet of Neptune, because Neptune is a very similar energy. Okay? Neptune is about dissolution. Neptune is about connection to the divine. Neptune is about multi dimensional perception. Um, Neptune is not logical, it's not left brained at all. And it does not analyze and it does not connect dots because it doesn't understand dots either. It only understands wholeness, it only understands oneness. So when we have Neptune in Pisces, it's right at home. Neptune has been in Pisces since, oh gosh, what was it? 2009, I believe, is when it went in properly without retrograde. And so it's going to be in for another, oh gosh, 3, 4, 5 years. It has a long transit through the sign of Pisces. So it's been there, it's been hanging out, it's been doing its thing. It's been bringing a lot of um, unconditional acceptance to issues that have to do with Piscean things, which has to do with, you know, acceptance and understanding and passion for the downtrodden or people that are affected by whether it's poverty, disease, illness. I mean, Neptune in the sign of Pisces brings a lot of compassion and acceptance into that space. And it also asks us to look at that, to open ourselves up and to be accepting of that. Okay, so when Mercury goes in to Pisces, and we already have Neptune in Pisces, sort of Neptune is sort of bringing a lot of energy into that Piscean space, which means that it's bringing a lot of dissolving of the mental boundaries of division when it comes to dealing with Piscean issues, downtrodden, the sick, the homeless, whatever it is, Piscean in nature, where we are asked to have a bigger heart and to be more accepting of circumstances beyond what's personal. So Neptune has been in this sign bringing that energy. Now Mercury comes in. Mercury moves very quickly through signs. It was had a retrograde period in Pisces, so this time it's been spending more time in Pisces than usual. Normally Neptune only spends a few weeks in every sign, but this time it's quite a bit longer because it went retrograde. Well, now Mercury is direct and it's going through Pisces and it's going to hit Neptune this weekend. This is the weekend of April 3rd, 4th, 5th, 2020. So Mercury is going to hit Neptune, and when it does, it's already in the sign of Pisces, which is Mercury's detriment. What does that mean? Mercury likes to connect dots. As I said, it's very left brain, it's very rational, it's very quick, right? It's kind of a this or that kind of a, it's kind of a superficial energy only because it's very fast. It doesn't spend much time, with it doesn't spend much time in any one place. So here it is with Pisces, and here it is with Neptune, and it's being asked to dissolve boundary. It's being asked to have a multi-dimensional perception. It's being asked to release its skills and dissolve into the whole. I mean, it's a very dreamy, fantasy-like energy, and it can be very compassionate and very healing in some sense, but it can also be extremely confusing when you're talking about the planet of Mercury that has a very left brain component to it. So here we are, two energies that don't really match and are having to integrate. How do we integrate that? What do we do with that? Well, so all right. So Mercury is the planet of skills and using your hands. So what I like to do with it, for me personally, what I like to do with this energy is I like to paint. All right, I like to do artistic things. I like to do projects or things that connect me with multi-dimensional energies. You want to call them that, Neptunian energies that are also at the same time very practical in expression. So for me, it's just painting. All right, that's what I like to do. So when this aspect happens, which it does once a year, that's what I will focus my energy on, and I will do what I can when I can to release my necessity for the left brain, if at all possible. This is life, so we can't just stop everything, although we have, and a lot of us have. But there are things that we have to attend to. However, if at all possible for this weekend, to release our necessity or our desire to figure things out and have 1 + 1 = 2 answered. Because right now we're probably not going to get it. Right now there's a lot of confusion. Right now there's a lot of information that's just dissolving into a pool nebulousness. It's not clear. Okay. And if the more we sit down and try to work it out and figure it out and plan and really strive to make sense of it, the more it's just going to be like water slipping through our fingers. Okay. It's not going to be coming, in the near future. It's not going to be coming this weekend, especially, or at least don't expect it. Okay, so what I would suggest, the astrological guidance for this is, if you can, if you do have the opportunity to do creative projects that don't involve logic and don't involve reason, or if they do, inspired by multidimensional perception. So what is that? Like, well, when I say painting, but when I talk about painting, I talk about painting things that have geometric components to them. So, like I like to paint planets, and because I'm an astrologer, with perfect circles and rings, and they have a mathematical component to them, but they're inspired by multidimensional energies. Okay, so that's one way to integrate it. In that sense, in that regard, this energy can be useful. You can use that sort of left brain ingenuity, but it's connected to a higher inspiration. All right, to an artistic inspiration. That's one way to use it. But I would just be very hesitant to try to find any kind of clarity, especially when looking at making plans out in the future, and looking at the world around us, or looking at your own life in relation to the world, and trying to develop an individual plan for yourself. Now is probably not the time for that. So use this energy artistically if you can. Be creative about how you try to integrate it, and understand that there is opportunity, because it is Neptunian energy, and we are going to have a very close connection to it. We may, if we do speak, we're probably going to want to voice something that could be inspiring for other people, something that has an element of compassion, unconditional love, transdimensional, okay, in its nature. Just keep thinking, it sounds vague. Neptune is kind of a vague energy. It's kind of a big picture, dissolving kind of energy, and there's a lot to be said for communicating without words, if at all possible. Feeling into the situation, feeling into things. So, as best I can, I've laid out what I can about Neptune in Mercury conjunct. It's a tricky one to try to integrate, for sure. So, what else is going on? Well, we have Jupiter on Pluto. It makes a direct aspect this weekend, so it'll be the first of three, because Jupiter is going to hit Pluto, and then it's going to pass Pluto, and then it'll retrograde back, hit Pluto again, and then I think it'll make its final pass in November of this year. So we have this Jupiter-Pluto energy happening, and what it is doing is bringing a magnifying glass. It is expanding our awareness of this deep transformative process that I've talked about in the other videos, with the power structures, whether they be corporations, government, hospitals, just the system at large. There's a huge transformation going on, a generational transformation. I mean, it's big. This planet Pluto is not going to be back here in our lifetimes, not even close. So where it is right now, there is focus being brought by Jupiter to that space. So this is going on. This has been going on and will keep going on. So just know that that's there. The main thing I wanted to focus on for this weekend was this Mercury and Neptune energy. So be cognizant of that. Use it as best you can, and see what you can create. Okay, that's what I got for now. See you on another video.